nothing's all or nothing, but, you can kind of see, I can see a collaboration where, well, I kind of didn't finish this because it really wasn't lined up with what I was supposed to be doing anyway. So a good life plan will recognize that there will be challenges along the way, and you can lay out a plan to meet those challenges with enthusiasm. So when you're considering your life plan, so far we've got knowing yourself, vision, and outlook. So we're on step 4 of the life plan, writing out your life plan, creating a life plan for your life moving forward. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about your life and your life plan, how it's working out for you, and when to reevaluate. What is your life plan? Are you someone that's in your life plan and all is well? Or are you needing a reboot? A re-up? A reconnect? Let me know. Chat live with me on lifeenhancementradio.com. So, moving on to the next step. What step are we on for creating your life plan? We're on step 4. And step 4 is goals. So you knew it was going to be in there somewhere, right? Goal setting, which is something that we all love to do, or maybe not so much, but you have to set goals. Just like in anything that you do in life, you have to set a goal. If you want to make some money, you got to set a goal on how you're going to make that money. If you want to lose yourself some weight, you got to set a goal on how you want to lose yourself some weight. If you want to get yourself a spouse, you got to set yourself a goal on how you going to get that spouse. It's all about goal setting on this Wellness Wednesday, and we're talking about step 4 on creating your life plan. We're on step 4 of 6 on creating your life plan, and step 4 is goals. So what do you want from life? You got to create monthly goals, weekly goals, and daily goals. Yes, it's that serious. Sometimes for some people, if you're creating, a goal and you're talking about December, or you're talking about November, well, that may be just a little bit too much. You might need to back it on up, and you might need to talk about the goals that you have for the week. And if you have so much chaos and confusion going on in your life that even talking about a weekly goal is too much, then you got to talk about daily goals. What do I want to do just to get done for this day? What is a goal that I have for this day? Am I doing something every day? And this is something that I love because it really helped me get to when I was working on something true and specific. This whole daily goal thing was something that really helped me out. And so sometimes, and a lot of people say, hey, monthly goals, that's not a monthly goal is not a long-term goal. It's a short-term goal. Well, you're right. It is a monthly goal is a short-term goal. But at the same time, different people deal with different things in their lives. People have a lot. Look, life is real. Okay? We laugh and we joke and we play, and I'm a big jokester. I find humor in a lot of things. And I think my dad was like that. My dad was a big jokester, and I think I get that portion of my personality from him. And I like to joke and I like to play, but there's a time to be serious, and there's a time to, like they say, shape up. And people have real things going on. So we don't judge others, and we don't discredit others, and we don't discredit what other people are going through. People are going through some really serious stuff. They say you never know what people have going on in life. You don't know what people have going on in closed doors. And some people literally live in so much chaos within their own homes. When you may see them out and about. You may see them at work, or you may see them at the grocery store, or you may see them at church, or you may see them at the cheerleading football game, or something like that, or out into the community, or at the homeowner association meeting, or in the course of your day, you may see someone and they may be wearing a smile, but they may be going home to total and utter chaos. There's, especially with kids, and so that's why I'm just saying, take this time to, not judge others. Use some of the information that you can use. So when I'm sharing something, you can pull stuff that you can use for yourself, or maybe you're pulling information that you know of someone else who may need it. Maybe you're doing okay. Maybe some of this you've heard, maybe it's just a refresher, or maybe you literally need to reevaluate and hone in and refocus and really just do this. Have you ever really sat down and created a life plan? Have you? And some of the things seem so simple, but have you done it? And like I was just talking about, people have so much going on that sometimes all they can think about is from one day to the next. I mean, you never know what some people have going on. In an upcoming show, I'm gonna have a guest on who's going to be talking about. We have an upcoming show on domestic violence, and I'm going to have a guest on who talks about domestic violence and how, they went to work and they were hanging around other people and they would go home into chaos. So, and that's just one example. I mean, you got people who you see every day and they're not even eating. They don't have enough food to eat. And we are so busy and so caught up in our own lives that we don't see or know or recognize other people. And so when I'm talking to you about making daily goals, sometimes that's all people have that they can make. And honestly, I had a daily goal that I wanted to do, and actually I had a life goal that I wanted to hit. And one of my ways that I was like, I'm going to get to this life goal is that I am going to do something every day that is geared towards my life goal. Because here's the thing, a lot of times when you set goals, people think it has to be so rich and so grandiose and so big, and this is a goal and I've got to hit it. And they think of goals in that way, and that's why people kind of like stay away from them, because sometimes we stay away from the hard things. But really, it really doesn't have to be. Goals can be small. Set them by days. Set the goal. Look, you can set a goal as small as you need it to be. If you want to say in the 2:00 hour, I'm going to do this, or at noontime, I'm going to do this, or every day at bedtime, I'm going to do this. Those are goals. And then it's something about feeling good about yourself, which is one of, our mental health tips that we gave last week, which was, to work your strengths, and celebrate it. So if you can set small goals for yourself and hit them, then you can celebrate it and you can move on and make a bigger goal. And you're like, oh, well, I don't need to set goals by the hour anymore. I'm good. I can set goals, by the day. And then if you can mark it in your head, to just go ahead and do something every day towards your life goal, then it becomes an easier feat and it doesn't seem so giant and gigantic. And I currently have some goals that I want to hit. I've got some super big, important life changes coming up in the closest and nearest future. And I've got some big and heavy decisions that I got to make. And I have at least 3 of my closest friends that are currently going through things too, and they have goals and they have life dreams and goals that they want to hit. So, but I'd never had a conversation with my friends about creating a life plan. So it's really something to think about. Setting yourself a goal. So when you write your goals, think in terms of what you're going to do to pursue your passionate abstraction, your vision, and what you will do to tend to your health, both physical and mental. So a lot of times we're thinking about life, what we're going to do, a goal, we're setting a life plan and we focus the plan on our career. But a life plan doesn't have to be about your career. It can be, and often it is. But also we have to include our health, our physical and our mental health, because those 2 things play a huge part in us actually obtaining the goals. Because, and that's the thing, like with money. Okay, you can see people who are rich and have a lot of money, but if their physical and their mental health is low, how can they really enjoy the money? Or suppose you grind and you grind and you grind and you're working hard to hit your goals, but you grinded yourself down to the ground. Now you're at where you wanted to be at, but you can't even enjoy it or live in it or resignate in it because you ran yourself down in the ground and now you don't feel good and you got mental health stuff going on. So it's so important to take care of your health. And like I said, this advice is not just for a younger generation or, the middle working group. This is for people of every age, because it doesn't matter how old you are. I will never forget that when I was graduating from my undergraduate school, big shout out to Virginia State University. Whoop, whoop. Orange and blue, Trojans, land of Troy. Holla if you hear me. But when I was graduating from undergraduate school, there was I believe, and somebody correct me if you're listening to this and I'm wrong, there was a 90-year-old woman who went across the stage with us. 90 years old, okay? So 90 years old, people. And here I am. I'm just getting my degree. I was probably, 19 years old. I don't know how old I was. I was probably 20 or something like that in that area. And she's 90. So here you have someone who's 70 years older than me. 7 decades older than me. And she's getting her bachelor's degree, walking across the stage with a whole bunch of 19, 20, 25-year-olds or whatever. So I will never forget that, because what I learned in that moment, literally, I learned it, and I can get choked up talking about it. What I learned in that moment is that she set a plan for herself. She set a life plan for herself. And she set goals for herself, and she kept her eye on the prize. So she had a good outlook, and she hit those goals, and she had passion, and she had vision, and she worked with other people to get herself to where she wanted to be. And I don't even know if she's still living now, but she was 90 years old then, and she made her goal, and she got her degree. And that told me there in that moment that anything is possible. I mean, what a great lesson for a 20-year-old. And I learned it that day. And I believe it was Mother's Day. So what a great gift to my mom as well. But what I learned is that never give up, and that it's never too late for anything. If you have to pick something up and have to put it down, it's never too late to pick it back up again. You are never too old for anything. Never. And theoretically, you're never too young. I mean, we start developing our personalities at the age of 4, studies say. So, or 3, I think it is. So, I mean, you pretty much, and even if you look at like 2-year-olds, I think by the time they're 3 or 4, they're settled in it. But when you're